Look how good
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and call this regularly scheduled March 10th meeting to order. I have no changes or amendments to the agenda that was published. So with that, I have a motion from Commissioner Martin, second from Commissioner Mazon. Any comments, questions on the motion on the floor from the dais? Public comments, questions on the motion on the floor? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passed unanimously. If you would, please rise for the invocation delivered by Pastor Ian Campbell of Newberry United Methodist Church and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will follow directly. Pastor, welcome.
There we go. To the one who brings us love, wisdom, and truth, thank you for this community in Newberry. Thank you for all who are working to make this place an even better one. Through discussions this evening, through leaders and citizens, through disagreements and new ideas, we ask for your strength in our shared concern and compassion for one another. May we see one another as a part of the whole. May we serve one another as a part of the whole. May we witness hope, love, and growth tonight and always in this place. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the United States of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I thought y'all were leaving me. I'd look to see we were still on the same page. You gotta hurry up, man. Only said it a million times. Go over that real good.
Okay, we have some presentations on the agenda tonight. We're going to begin with our candidate introductions. We've split up our candidates this year, so if you're not getting introduced tonight, you're going to come introduce yourself next time. The three that we're going to introduce tonight, they're all up for election on April 8th, 2025. They're each going to be providing a 2-minute self-introduction, and we will start with mayoral candidate Tim Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. Recently, I was actually asked why I was running for mayor, and I just simply replied I thought it was what was best for our city. On April 8th, we'll actually have the opportunity as a community to speak about the past and about the future. I've done big things and little things as a commissioner. A couple of the big things that I've done is when I was first elected 12 years ago, I found corruption in our fire department, fought it, bringing in the FBI, pushed for prosecutions, pushed for restitution, and got it. I saw the money, hard-earned tax money, going out the door to private organizations in exchange for political favors, and I helped stop it. I saw a leadership team with no discipline and helped correct it. I stood by a fellow commissioner defending his free speech rights while people tried to get him fired from his job. I stood up to the county when they tried to shut our entire community down during COVID. Here are a couple of little things. I put crosswalk flags downtown to help others cross the street easier. I mowed my neighbor's lawn after they lost their mother. I coached youth sports and hosted numerous voter education events. Over my tenure, I had a front row seat and many leadership decisions about Publix, rec center expansions, the equestrian showplace, UF-IFAS office expansion, road projects, new city hall, housing projects, multiple rezoning applications, visioning sessions, overlay district standard implementations, redrawing of urban service areas, implementation of the community redevelopment district, and more. I've represented the city at the local, state, and federal levels. For probably over 10 years now, I have, with the help of my fellow commissioners, kept our city focused on core services: water, wastewater, roads, recreation, power. We have focused on providing Cadillac government on a Chevy price. We have found a groove as a team. It's not easy for me to actually sit here and tell you all the things that I've done because it's not about me. This is about being part of a strong commission, hiring a great staff, giving them the tools and the resources to be successful, and getting out of the way to let them be the professionals that they are capable of being.
Commissioner, can I Can I ask you to
Yep.
wrap it up? We're 30 seconds over, 40
Nope,
seconds over.
sorry. Being a commissioner is sitting together at the front of the ship with 5 of your friends and charting a course for our city. I am leadership ready, commitment ready, experience ready. I am day one ready. Please vote for me on April 8th.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. All right, I've looked at the time. We'll make sure everybody gets the same amount of time. The first Commissioner Group 4 candidate is Mr. Donald Long. Come on down, sir.
How you guys doing today? I'm Donald Long, and the reason I'm running for commission seat is to keep the focus on the community. I've been on the P&Z, and I have represent a lot of new things we've brought into this community, whether it's developments or businesses, and to help strive to make Newberry a place, a vision for next generations. You know, everybody's focused on today and tomorrow, but 10 years, 5 years from now, this is where we want to be, how we want things to develop. And everything is not as simple as everyone sees it. We've always cut teeth in making sure that every citizen is not impacted by new development. Everybody is not burdened by what we bring to the city. You know, everybody doesn't want development to grow, but they love in Publix. They love the new things we bring, and that's what we want to keep doing. We don't want a city that's overwhelmed with too much. We want just enough where we can feel like a home, feel like a community, and feel like a place you don't have to drive everywhere to entertain your family. That's what it's mainly about. That's what I want to maintain. I want to make sure our schools are always the focus. You know, this charter school has been a major focus, and I'm just here to make sure they commit to what they say they're going to do. Whether you're for it or against it, it's all about committing to the students. And that's what I want to make sure we represent, and that's what I want to make sure we do going forward. You can vote for me April 8th, and you can find me and donate, vote.donaldlong.com, on my website and my Facebook page. And I just want everybody to understand, whether we agree or disagree, we can all communicate together and learn from each other, whether we have any issues or no issues. That's what I want to represent. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, our next Commissioner Group 4 candidate is Mr. Steve Hanaji. Come on down, sir.
Good evening. My name is Steve Panaji, and I'm running for City Commissioner Group 4, and thank you for inviting me to speak here tonight. My wife and I moved to Newberry in 2012. We were drawn to the small hometown feel, and it reminded us of where we grew up as kids. Over the years, we have seen rapid growth in Newberry that reminded us of the rapid growth of our childhood homes. We saw firsthand what happens when reckless development takes place, and we are seeing the same warning signs here and now. I go into more details about my platform on my website at stevefornewberry.com and on my Facebook page, but I wanted to cover some highlights here. I want to make sure our infrastructure is up to the task of handling all the new residents before they arrive and ensure that the needed improvements to our roads are completed before the first home is sold. I want to find ways to make sure that taxpayer dollars go further, optimizing what we spend money on. I'm focused on finding ways to reduce our electricity rates overnight so our ratepayers can keep more of their hard-earned money in their pockets. I would also like to work with the Sheriff's Office to create safer ways for our kids to commute to and from school. Our downtown businesses deserve a solution for parking now and not after 2027 when the state works on their project. I also want to institute both an enforceable ethics policy and term limits for elected officials. Lastly, I want to mend the relationship with the county and the school board so that we work together for the betterment of our citizens and not be opposed to one another. I'm a big believer in transparency, so much so I've already shared my personal contact information on my website and Facebook page, and I encourage people to reach out to me for any questions or concerns they might have. In closing, I would like to thank you tonight, and I hope that you would join me in encouraging all voters to come out on April 8th to vote for the candidate they feel will best represent them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. Thank you all. We appreciate everybody who's willing to put their name on the ballot and run to serve. It takes a lot of commitment to do that, and so thank you all for having the courage to step up. Next, we're going to hear about Newberry's exciting Ag Tech F300 progress update. This is Newberry's premier economic development plan. Mr. Kamal has done some great things with it, and we've got something happening this week, right? So take it away.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager. I'm Kamal Latham, your economic development consultant, and I've had the pleasure of working with this team for about 2.5 years, mostly focused on the Ag Food Tech Park, F300. It is named after that because F is for Florida and 300 for the 300 specialty crops in the state of Florida. This project, as you may recall, emanated from a community meeting that happened about 10 years ago or so, and there was dialogue from the community about how we can move forward to promote economic growth and development that's really reflective of the rich heritage and culture of Newberry, which is in agriculture. And then in 2021, UF IFAS Extension Office for Alachua County moved from Gainesville here to Newberry, and that helped to really reinvigorate and put new energy behind that initiative. And so we're going to walk through some of the updates and just some of the highlights. The project name is F300, AgriTech Innovation Park and Business Incubator, F for Florida and 300 for the 300 specialty crops. Why? Job creation. That's the purpose here. High skill, high wage jobs. That's the purpose for this project. And when you have more job creation, it helps to facilitate more tax revenue coming to the city, which enables the city to have more resources available to do infrastructure development so that you have more opportunity to be able to serve the customers that you have and the citizens here in the city of Newberry.
We got one slide on the, oh. There we
Thank
go.
you. As a quick reminder, in 2022, we had a stakeholder meeting, and many of you were there, as we could see in the photo. Duke Energy gave Newberry a $20,000 grant to do a feasibility study, and the following year, a $55,000 grant was secured from USDA Rural Development to put together the feasibility study and business plan that you heard presented last summer. And so there was a lot of excitement for this, that we had some early investors, if you will, into examining this project. Over these past 2.5 years, we've worked with the city team members to put together a consortium. Whenever you do a project to try to move things forward, you need a team of champions. And so the consortium members, the city is the lead, and then there's the University of Florida IFAS, Santa Fe College, Duke Energy Florida, Micro Nanotechnologies, Agriculture Intelligence, Inc., START GNV, the Florida Feed Association, the Florida Agritourism Association, the Florida Business Incubation Association, the International Fresh Produce Association, the Newberry Area Chamber, the Greater Gainesville Chamber, Mirror Image Leadership Academy, and GBM Global Solutions. So these are the public, private, and nonprofit organizations that have committed to help the city of Newberry in establishing this agriculture and food technology innovation park and business incubator. What happened over the past year? There was a F300 stakeholder meeting and new consortium members were added. One of the major meetings was last summer when the consultants had completed the feasibility study and business plan. We had a stakeholder meeting. The mayor was present there, and that was an opportunity to talk about the project. The incubator feasibility study was completed. The incubator business plan was completed, and a European ag tech company meeting was held, and a demo was conducted with a dairy farm. The Florida Jobs Growth Grant application was submitted. And there was an article in FDI Alliance International magazine that was for media coverage. The Florida Jobs Growth Grant was a multi-million-dollar grant submitted to have infrastructure to be done. We are still awaiting to hear back from the Department of Commerce, and it's the Governor's Jobs Growth Grant at the end of the day. And we were really excited to be able to get coverage in FDI Alliance International magazine. It's one of the top economic development magazines in the world. I have a hard copy here. In case anyone wants to.
Very nice. Thank you, sir.
That magazine is published out of the United Kingdom. It's from the UK, and it comes out several times a year. And we were able to have a reference for F300 in the December issue of the magazine. And this is about awareness. It's about bringing more attention to the city of Newberry and this agriculture food technology project. And again, the objective is to be able to create high skill, high-wage jobs for Newberry residents today, and then for the young people for tomorrow. We were really honored and humbled to be able to receive the 2024 Start GNV Community Builder Award, and we have the actual copy of it right here.
Good job. Well done.
Start GNV is one of the consortium members for F300. For anyone who may not be familiar with them, they're a nonprofit organization that's based in Gainesville, and they help to promote startup company growth all throughout North Central Florida. And we were shocked when we got an email from them a couple of weeks ago saying that F300 is a finalist for the Community Builder of the Year Award. We had no idea we were even nominated for it. And then we had there was an awards dinner, and myself and former city manager Mike New attended, and there were 3 finalists: the F300 Project, University of Florida Innovate, and the City of Alachua. And those are the 3 finalists, and we won.
Anytime you
And
beat
so
out
just-
UF. Very nice. Pretty good competition. Well done.
So the City of Newberry's project won out of that competition, and
Yeah.
that's pretty stiff competition right there. It was very humbling. This is the city's project that was launched, and it's been our honor and privilege as your consultants just to help move the project forward. And at the end of the day, it's about community, helping to build community. And so the current phase of F300 is to do a startup accelerator program. When the consultants who did the feasibility study and the business plan last summer, when they presented it, they said, well, we've given you a business plan to do a business incubator. There's a big price tag attached to it, $12 to $14 million, about $500 per square foot to do a 20,000+ square foot facility. They said that would cost, a fair amount of money. Don't wait until you build the big building to start helping agriculture and food technology companies right now. Find a way, if you could use some existing space, existing resources as is, to try to help companies. And so we thought about it, and there is a model out there where you can have an accelerator. A incubator is something what you would see in a lodge with Sid Martin Biotech or the Hub downtown in Gainesville. You have kind of low-cost rent. Typically, companies are there for a year or 2 or 3 to literally incubate while they help to find their way. And then there's another conception which is called a startup accelerator. Think of it of getting an executive master's in business administration, executive MBA, as opposed to being on campus for like a year or 2. It's kind of a condensed, shortened period. And so that's what we have done. And so it's a 3-month program, mostly virtual, a few in-person connections here in the city of Newberry. But the objective is to be able to help identify companies from outside of this area and companies that are at UF that are looking to commercialize so that we can help them grow their startup. Get them connections with potential customers, partners, and investors, educational workshops, mentorship, professional development. And at the end of the 3 months, what we are looking at is that is a potential future employer in the city of Newberry. And at the time that a formal incubator is set up and other infrastructure, then that is a potential future tenant. And so it's a 3-month program designed to help agriculture and food technology startups grow. Advanced technologies are needed to reduce the time, cost, and complexity of planting, harvesting, packaging, and transporting food and agricultural products. Precision agriculture, artificial intelligence, automation, robotics, sensing, data analytics, advanced energy, and other technologies will be fostered. And we are delighted to share that we have 2 companies that have joined the accelerator. And this Wednesday, we have the kickoff reception that will be at the municipal building. One of those companies is a company that's from outside of this area. It was a referral from Florida Commerce, an agriculture technology company that has an intelligent feed management system using the internet and using artificial intelligence to help dairy farmers to be able to get better data on the mixture of the feed that they are putting out so they can be able to change rations and the ratios.
If you guys could be here on Wednesday, this company is a fascinating company. just their backstory, their history, their narrative, what they do, and the market share that they already possess, young guys. It's really a cool product that they've got. I didn't want to interrupt, but
No,
if you
no,
can
thank
come, it'd be a lot of fun. Y'all would be into it.
The name of the company is called Profeed, and they will have their technology and their equipment here on Wednesday, 5:30 to 7:30. And the second company is called Moocanics. Moo is cows, moo, mechanics is mechanics.
That's a dad joke. That's good.
Yeah.
They are the second company in the accelerator. This company is spinning out of the University of Florida, IFAS. There's a professor at IFAS with a PhD student that had an idea about trying to update some technology so that you can be able to use technology to replicate the digestive system of a cow. So instead of having to use live animals to test different types of feed, you can develop a technology and create an environment. And so there's several other students that are mechanical engineers, and this company is owned by 5 UF students, and they're looking to grow their company. And so they will be there. And so this is exactly what this is about. Bring companies here, help commercialize technology that's in the university, help connect them, introduce them to Newberry, and then we have some potential prospects in the economic development pipeline over time. One of the big exciting things is that this project, F300, is really a collaboration with the University of Florida, IFAS, Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences. U of IFAS is positioning Florida as the Silicon Valley of agriculture. And U of IFAS is working with the state of Florida to create the Florida Ag Tech Accelerator. This is kind of a big picture statewide initiative to promote the ag tech industry here in Florida. It features 11 county and technical school partners, 10 state college partners to address rural and agricultural workforce development needs in 38 different counties. This is a cooperative program between IFAS and other state universities, state colleges, agriculture communities, private industry, and the military that will do the following. 1, upskill current and future workforces through education and training programs. 2, grow and attract new ag tech enterprises through state-of-the-art facilities and talent. And 3, accelerate solutions to market by funding research and entrepreneurship. The head of U of IFAS is Dr. Scott Engel. He's a very entrepreneurial-minded person. And several years ago, there was a meeting with him and Mayor Marlowe. And one of the things that he talked about is he wants to be able to help get the research that's in IFAS, get it out there into the market. Because a lot of the research is for the public good. And then some of that research needs to then transition to not just be for the public good, but for public service. And when it's for public service, then it's in the marketplace. And then there's a value that's attached, and then people can generate revenue from it. And that was one of the things, is trying to help improve the situation for our farmers here in this region and in Florida. There was research that was conducted, and we found out from the USDA that in Florida, less than 20% of all the farms in Florida use precision agriculture technologies, such as the water turning on and turning off when it's spraying on the fields, because you can detect where it's wet or where it's dry, so you just don't keep spraying the water when you don't need to. But you go out to the Midwest, sometimes over 40%, over 50%, over 60% of some of the states in the Midwest use precision agriculture technologies. So what does that mean? When you use more precision agriculture technologies, you can reduce the cost for farmers and increase profitability. It's about what can we do to help the family farm. That's what the story is about. Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. And one thing, what we are hearing from Tallahassee, from the governor's office, is this is the year of ag. And Newberry is perfectly poised to move forward and be the tip of the spear on a lot of this stuff. So come check it out Wednesday. Appreciate the update. Thank you so much. And we'll see you on Wednesday.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Nice.
All right.
Couple of things, Mr. Mayor.
But,
Questions?
question?
I mean, it's been 3 years, and personally, I'm kind of disappointed that this hasn't gotten a little further than it has already, because when it was presented to us, it sounds like these companies are ready to move in and become part of the ag tech. Now, these companies that are going to be presenting on Wednesday, do they do their own financing, or is it something that the city has to supplement, or how does that work?
These are private companies. The city would not be doing any supplementing of these companies. These are two startup companies, and they are currently funding or financing themselves. One of the things that's part of this accelerated program is get them introductions to potential investors. And so the hope is that we make an introduction and they get a client, they get an investor, they get some funding in that can help them be able to build a building, hire staff, and then we want Newberry to be top of mind so that they would be welcome to come to Newberry and establish their business and grow their business.
We're an introducer.
Okay.
There's a better word for that.
So when do you think we'll actually have some programs out there?
Well, we are doing what we can to be able to try to do the marketing and help to create more awareness so we can bring some more companies. So this accelerated program is the first program, if you will, to directly engage the companies and look to have them come in. And until, a building is built, an incubator building is built, we're looking to connect with as many companies as possible so they can get introduced and connected with Newberry so that they're positioned, hopefully, in the future to want to come and set up shop.
I think the answer to your question, Commissioner Farnsworth, is going to be in the Jobs Growth Grant, because we're at the top of the list for the Jobs Growth Grant this year. That's going to give us the money to run the underground infrastructure. We've got the land, we've got the developer, we've got a building, a growing consortium. What we don't have is the who's paying to run to what. That's what a Jobs Growth Grant is. Mm-hmm. So I think the answer to your question is, let's see how it happens with the Jobs Growth Grant. Let's see what the year of agriculture ends up meaning, right? And then we'll know at the end. Right. We'll know at the end of that, are we in a good shape to keep moving? Because right now we're number one on that list, right? We've got the consortium. We've got the third largest international ag food science in the world as a partner. So all of the pieces of the puzzle are kind of laid out. But I agree. I think, what we're all hoping is that we would see, John Deere or Massey Ferguson or some, big seed coming down and doing it. And I think that's on the horizon. I have every faith.
Who pays for the incubator building?
Well, that would be the Jobs Growth Grant of the developer, right? So the Jobs Growth Grant would pay for the underground infrastructure, the developer. That's what the developer would develop the buildings, and then they'd work out their own relationship with the businesses that would come in about how much square footage they want, what the rent is going to be, and it's not us, right?
Okay, so but still that could be several years down the road.
Oh, I think anytime you talk about vertical construction,
yeah,
you're for several years down the road.
Okay.
But you got to have the partners first.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Can't wait to see you on Wednesday night.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we're going to move to item 3, which is a proclamation declaring March 21st as the Great American Cleanup Day in Newberry. Mr. Lee, you're pitch hitting for Mr. Jones.
I was going to say, I'm Jamie Jones.
Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners. As you know, every year we host the Great American Cleanup in partnership with Keep Alachua County Beautiful. This year, we have a number of events which we will be posting on our website and on our Facebook for everybody to be aware of. But we'll start with our litter and tire roundup, which will be Friday, March 21st and Saturday, March 22nd from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Public Works Compound. As well on that Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., we'll have the Household Hazardous Waste Roundup, also at the Public Works Compound. And then the following week, Monday through Thursday, we will be doing yard.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Amanda, and I am the Acting Director of Finance and Administration. Tonight, I am honored to recognize your Finance Administration team as we celebrate Government Finance Professionals Week, which takes place next week, March 17th to March 21st. Just a bit of background. Government Finance Professionals Week is sponsored by the Florida Government Finance Officers Association, or FGFOA. It's a professional association founded in 1937 and serves more than 3,300 professionals across the state. This week is dedicated to recognizing the government finance professionals and the various services that our team provides to the community. To showcase our exceptional team, we have prepared a PowerPoint presentation highlighting the key functions of your Finance Administration Department.
And you're off to a great start with the Christmas picture.
I know, I thought you'd like
Way to
that.
weave in Christmas capital of Alachua County right there.
I did it
Good
on
job.
purpose.
Good
Yeah.
job.
Okay.
Way better than that last Director of Finance. Yeah.
No arguments.
So we're a 12 people department team. We have grants and funding, human resources, customer service, payroll, receivables, payables, purchasing. And that is all but Tammy's not in that picture. So that's all of us but one is in that picture. Okay. Just some high-level overview of some of the services that we provide, such as financial advice and guidance to City Commission and the city manager and department heads. We prepare the annual financial statements. We ensure adherence to GAAP and GASB. We prepare and administer the annual operating and capital budgets, which for fiscal year 2025 was just over $64 million. We also monitor spending to ensure compliance to the adopted budget. And we prepare and monitor the capital improvement plan. Okay.
Nice, Dallas.
Pictures are rocking it tonight.
nice.
You're doing
Yeah.
a great job. Yes.
Love the socks.
So for some numerical data, in fiscal year 2024, we processed just under 27 million in payments, which was just at 10,000 invoices. We also processed 26 payrolls, which was just over 183,000 hours of work. We also, as far as your department, we handle purchasing, which is ensure compliance with the city purchasing policy. For fiscal year 2024, we issued just over 720 purchase orders. We also search and apply for grants and then administer and monitor the grants once awarded. Okay, so we also do customer service. And we have an excellent customer service team. And one example of the excellent customer service that they provide is in 2024, they actually contacted over 340 customers regarding leaks and other issues identified through the AMI. They answered over 19,000 calls. And they
And
also
returned almost $15,000 because of that AMI. I heard it in the
That's
State
right.
of the City speech.
Yeah.
Commissioner Farnsworth said it, so it had to be true.
Yep.
Yeah.
It actually was, yeah. We also opened and closed customer accounts. There was 542 new customer accounts. Okay. So Finance and Administration also oversees information technology, which maintains servers, employee workstations, and the network. Also oversee public information or relations, such as providing information to the public regarding city events, activities, and general news. And then we administer and review contracts, including the union negotiations. Finance Administration also includes human resources, which maintains human resource records, is the administrator for city employee benefit package, and helps instill the workplace culture, such as this challenge coin that was given to Ms. Stacy. And in fiscal year 2024, we processed 34 new hires. Okay, so just to wrap it up, here's just some main accomplishments for fiscal year 2024. We're almost done with another clean audit opinion, and we're expecting our 7th Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement for fiscal year 2024. And then just to highlight our very own Tammy Snyder, she presented at the International AMI Conference in Atlanta on the AMI deployment and utilization, so we're very proud of her. And we underwent our first bond rating and received a high rating and secured financing for construction of the new City Hall. And also were awarded various grants. One was the $90,000 grant for construction of Veterans Memorial Park. And Ms. Jane, who's here, actually helped secure that grant for us.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So thank you for your time and allow me to share what we do.
No, we appreciate you. I'm always excited. I don't know that folks know how much it means to have a finance department that wins these awards, that brings home clean audits every year. I know that we have other local governments around us. I think the school board's audit just came out, it had 2 pages of findings. And so when we have our audit and we have a clean audit, I think that says a lot, you know. I really like to be able to say to my residents, we've had a clean audit. Our finance department wins all these awards. I wish the people that asked us questions and transparency, I like those questions. I wish they brought that same level of inquisitiveness to their other surrounding governments around us, because we can provide all those answers because we have clean audits. And I wish the rest of Alaska, I know that you guys are doing great work over there in the city of Archer. I know that they're very appreciative. I talk to those commissioners all the time. So it means a lot for me to actually offer this following proclamation in. And I want to apologize because when people criticize you guys on social media, no, they're not criticizing you. They're attacking me. They just don't know that they're really attacking you. But they're not. They're attacking me. It has nothing to do with you guys. You guys are doing an amazing job. So just know they're after me. It's not about you, right? So with that, I want to offer this proclamation because you guys deserve it, because you guys do an amazing job. Government Finance Professionals Week. Whereas the Florida Government Finance Officers Association is a professional association founded in 1937 and serves more than 3,300 professionals from state, county, and city governments, school districts, colleges and universities, special districts, and private firms. Whereas the FGFOA is dedicated to being your professional resource by providing opportunities through education, networking, leadership, and information. And whereas this Government Finance Professionals Week, sponsored by the FGFOA and all of its member governmental organizations, is a week-long series of activities aimed at recognizing government finance professionals and the vital services that they provide to our state and our community. And whereas during this week, government finance professionals throughout the state of Florida will be acknowledged for their hard work, dedication, and leadership. Now, therefore, I, Jordan Marlowe, Mayor of the City of Newberry, and on behalf of the City Commission, now proclaim March 17 through 21, 2025 as Government Finance Professionals Week in the City of Newberry, and extend our appreciation to all government finance professionals throughout the state and here in our city for their hard work, dedication, and leadership. And witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand this 10th day of March 2025. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. All right, that brings us to public announcements. Any member of the public wishes to speak to the commission about something that's not on the agenda item, you have 2 minutes to do so. Go ahead and make a queue, line up. You have 5 minutes at the end of the night if you have a longer comment. Seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. All those in favor of the consent agenda, I have a motion from Commissioner Clark, second from Commissioner Mazon. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously with Commissioner Coleman out of the room. That will lead us to public hearings and ordinances. Item 8 is sale of real property to Alachua County Board of County Commissioners. Very exciting conversation tonight. Mr. Lee, take it away.
Good evening again, Mr. Mayor and City Commissioners. As you may recall, a number of years ago, we started having conversations with the Board of County Commissioners to enter into an agreement for some joint use of the property at our environmental park, or the new wastewater plant property. Due to some different things that happened with the legislature and some other projects that fell through, we're no longer entering into an interlocal agreement with the county. The county has proposed just a straight purchase of 5 acres of land at the Rural Collection Center, as indicated on the map here. So the county has offered $35,000 per acre for $175,000 for the purchase. The city paid $12,500 per acre back in 2021. So we're getting a pretty good
inflation,
return.
Though. Inflation. It's been a
Pretty
rough
good return
all.
on our investment there. The city is required to bring utilities to the site, but other than that, this is a straight purchase of the land by the county. We also have Gus Olmos here, who is the Solid Waste Recovery Director. Close enough? Close enough. Okay. Who can answer any questions on behalf of the county.
All right. Does the commission have any questions? We bought agricultural land. They're buying land that's going to be developable, right? We appreciate the Rural Collection Center. Commissioner Clark.
Yes, probably for Mr. Gus. When is, once we get the land deal done, how quick will the county move in building the facility?
So the limiting factor for us, Gus Olmos, Solid Waste Director with Alachua County. Good evening. The limiting factor for us is when the utilities are available.
Okay. So once we get utilities on the ground, y'all ready to move?
We should be ready to move, yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Martin.
Not necessarily a question, but more of a comment. I am very excited about being able to partner with the county to move this forward. I know it was something that came about because there was some friction in the High Springs community. We kind of offered this, kind of move it forward, and I think it'll be a great thing for our community. having you here.
I agree. That's a wonderful, because in that, I remember calling up Commissioner Mary Helen because the city of High Springs was objecting, and Newberry stepped in and said, we would love to have this because we've got all of these farmers. Things got a little haywire with the processing plant, but this was always a positive partnership, and I agree with Commissioner Martin. It's wonderful to get back to that because Newberry and Alachua County really do work well together most of the time, right? We have things where we both have to, protect our residents, but this is a wonderful opportunity, and I'm excited. I'm sure that we can figure out how to make sure that we can get our utilities there in a timeline to get you guys open, because this is going to be the last great American cleanup where we're doing tires, and because we're going to have this here, right? I like it, Commissioner Farnsworth.
Mr. Mayor's kind of not related, but is there any progress made with the firefighter training?
We have our own appropriations. It is not related, but go ahead.
We have Mr. Mayor, the commission directed us to turn in a legislative appropriation for this budget session at the state for the firefighter training facility. So we have submitted that. Session just started last week, so we're waiting to hear.
And would that be going on the same property, or?
It could, but we're getting pretty close. We're getting a little tight.
We're getting a little tight out there.
Yeah.
If he's going to have enough room to put it out there or not.
But I did have a conversation with the county commissioner recently about the fire training facility as well. So who knows, right? Commissioner Martin?
Oh, one other thing. I didn't even realize conversation was still going on in the background, so I'm glad that it is.
All right. Thank you, sir. Any other questions for Mr. Gus?
Thank you.
Okay, I need a motion to authorize appropriate officials to execute the purchase agreement and other documents. I have a motion from Commissioner Martin, a second from Commissioner Maison. Any comments or questions on the motion on the floor from the dais? Any public comments or questions on the motion on the floor? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. That takes us to item 9, which is Easton Sports Development Foundation, proposal to expand facilities. Rod, come on down and introduce yourself once again.
Who is this guy?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission. For the record, my name is Rod Clark, Recreation Director. I stand before you today to provide a brief update and to seek direction from the commission regarding the Easton Sports Development Foundation proposal discussion that took place here in these chambers back in early December 2024. At that time, you asked that we bring the item back in 90 days for further discussion. You also directed staff to be on lookout for any grants that would be able to perhaps help Easton to build a standalone facility, perhaps at our Champions Park location, if so desired. At that time, former city manager New brought the item before you along with Mr. Carl Grimm, who represented the Easton Foundation. The recommended action today is that you receive presentation and also direct staff as follows. A negotiated contract outlining specific terms of the proposal and each party's responsibility, bearing in mind that either party can pull out of the project proposal at any point during negotiations, or terminate negotiations and advise the Easton Foundation that we are not interested in a renewed partnership at this time, or bring the item back for further discussion at a later date. Okay. I want to give you a quick recap of how we got here. So the city partnered with the Easton Foundation back in 2008 to construct the main facility of what we today now know as the East Newberry Sports Complex. The city provided the property and managed construction. Easton contributed $1.5 million toward the build of the 17,600 square foot facility, and the city funded the balance, which is estimated to be about $1 million. The project was completed around 2009-ish. The city picks up most of the costs for operating and maintaining the facility, that's buildings and the grounds. During the project development, the city and Easton developed a contract that spells out the relationship between them during construction and during the operation period that came afterwards. The contract included a 20-year term That part of the contract terminates at the end of September 2029, but also grants Easton the option to renew the lease agreement for an additional 10-year period for a total of 30 years. According to the contract, if the city does not grant the extension, then the city would be on the hook for 1.5 mil, adjusted for inflation as liquidated damages. This is just a visual to show you how what the operation is today, how it's divided up. The blue represents the recreation program. The red part of the slide represents the controlled, what Easton controls, and the yellow is the shared space. If you look up there under the word floor plan and you look at the bullet points there, that basically, that whole area represents where the proposed new build would go. So just to give you some idea, then that's on the northeast side of the building. So if you're looking directly at the building, it's kind of on the back side to the left. Okay. Area plan here, just to show you what is proposed to be in the new build. So of course there will be an archery range, bathroom area, new office space, and new storage areas as well. This is a little hard to see, but I included this slide just to show you the scale of what the building would be. So in the center, you see where the new building extension. Directly to the right of it is the existing archery range. So you can kind of see the size of that and the size of the proposed new build. The other thing that's important there is to know that, as you can see further to the left, that area just to the north of the building will be occupied by archery as well, which butts up to the archery lanes, which are all outside, again, to the left and on this slide, but to the north of the building. And this is a rendering to show you exactly what I was just talking about. So that wall there would be the north wall of the new extended building there, and then that whole area, as you can see, be dedicated to archery, which is adjacent to the archery lanes. Okay. So Easton has submitted the proposed terms and consideration for an updated operating agreement. Here is a high-level summary of their proposal. So Easton does propose to extend the relationship. They are asking if they can construct a 9,800 square foot addition to our building, which we just looked at. They are also proposing that they pay 100% of the expansion cost, which is estimated to be about $3.5 million. And then finally, Easton proposes to renew the operating agreement for an additional 35 years.
Rod, can I?
Sir, go ahead.
I don't want to cut the presentation short, but I had a really exciting conversation about this topic today. I met. It would clearly fall under option A, direct staff to negotiate, but it may make a lot of this conversation also kind of mute. So what I would ask of the commission is to direct staff to option A, direct staff to negotiate, give us an opportunity to kind of flesh out the conversation that I had today, which I think is going to negate what a lot of your concerns are. I know 30 years is a long time. I know building structures that you can't do anything but shoot archery in is a concern. But I don't want to prolong this conversation if this conversation is now not really going to be very applicable based on the conversation that I had today. So that would be my ask. Again, we can continue with the presentation. I want to hear all of that feedback, but I think I can look at your faces and know what your concerns are, right? And that would just give us the opportunity to have this conversation, because I do think they've been a good partner. They deserve the opportunity to see if we can make this thing work. And I think today we came up with a potential solution that's going to mitigate everybody's. So I'd like a little bit of time to kind of talk to Rod, see what he thinks, and then we'll bring that back and see what you guys think. So,
Mr. Mayor,
how many more slides did you have? I didn't mean to cut you off, but it sounded like we were getting
just
into the concerns. Which, yeah, go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back to Commissioner Barden. Finish up those concerns.
Okay. Okay, so this is just some of the primary concerns that staff had in regards to the proposal that we received from Easton. The first thing, and then they're in no particular order. So the first thing is the narrow scope of the bill. Staff feels that the new bill is not planned for function use beyond archery, which we already discussed. It also limits recreation opportunities beyond in terms of any new agreement. And we talked about the primary reason for that is the height of the roof, right? It's, the plan is to build it at 15 feet, which for recreation is considered low because the standard indoor facility for recreation is 25. And so that would limit any, some of our primary indoor sport offerings. Secondly, again, the judge just mentioned, but the proposed 35-year agreement period seems extensive, which would limit future growth of city recreational programs as well. Thirdly, staff feels that there needs to be more equitable distribution of shared expenses needed. For example, if additional parking is needed, based on the size of the new build, who covers that? And also consideration of utility costs, liability, and liability insurance. The next point focuses on a clear separation of space and duties between agencies, and I feel like both sides kind of feel that way. But in summary, staff feels like at this speed and what's been offered now, that recreation program will be significantly impacted and growth limited.
And I mean, out of all of those concerns, what I hear is whatever the solution to this is, we need clearly delineated, this is your area, this is our area. These are your phone lines, these are our phone lines. This is your internet, this is our internet. We're not, we pay for the internet, you pay for the phone kind of a situation. That just gets muddled, right? So we're back to the recommended action. I would ask the board to direct staff along the lines A. And Commissioner Martin, you were reaching for the mic.
Yeah, I wrote down a couple of things here. Rod, if you can just check them off for me. Did you say that we would owe $1.5 million?
Yes, according to the contract, plus inflationary costs.
At 2.25 with inflation.
If we don't want to honor the 10-year.
If we don't, yes, the extension.
Okay. Are they paying for any of the additional dirt needed to build or expand?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay.
They just be paying for the building.
Outdoor paddock area, how do they keep the public from using that? Kids that are over at the pavilion or the playground coming over and doing that? Is that something they're going to corner off for themselves, or is that going to be open? Have you?
Is there a fence in the rendering?
Yeah.
Can you go back?
There was no fence. I mean, Eric from Easton is here. If you want to
come on down.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. Eric with Easton Foundations.
So my question was that outdoor paddock area, are you intending to try to keep that for yourselves? How are you going to potentially secure that from kids running by it and
the plan is to ask for a fence to actually fully enclose the range as a part of this, because right now there's a fence on the west side that blocks from the football fields and everything else, but we would like to close in the whole thing because that would be a concern.
Is that an ask for us to put the fence in?
No, that would be a part of the construction.
Okay, so your ask was whether you could put one in?
Yes, when we do the construction. It has been asked in the past and it was declined to fence it in.
Is there separate meters out there for their space? Power meters?
There is not. No.
Okay. And then my last question is, are you at liberty to give us the Cliff Notes version of that conversation?
I am. I hesitate to do it because I haven't run it down with Rod and the finance team. So let me do that before because if it's not possible, there's no reason to. I think that there is some negotiation is possible in any way, shape, or form, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. If Rod says Jordan, that's not going to work, let me tell you why. Then I want to.
I'm in favor of moving forward together. Just in general principle, I'd say bring it. Can you bring it back in 2 weeks?
Yeah, some negotiations there. And I mean, the terms we put down was a very rough draft. There has been no
I don't think we can
negotiations.
bring
Or
back
just give
the
us-
operating
bring-
agreement,
yeah.
but I think we can bring back a concept.
Bring back the update.
Yeah.
Whether you got a contract ready to go for us, I'd be fine with that.
And just so you know, I did just send out an email asking to meet with you guys and everybody next week so that we could see if this has legs.
When you say to bring back the update, that is in terms of what you were discussing?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
just don't want to belabor it anymore.
Okay. And I do agree with you, Mayor, and Rod on the presumption of separate
Yeah.
power, separate. I know there's a lot of things that converge on who covers what is always a question, and that's part of our understanding moving forward with you guys, separations.
Yeah. Commissioner Coleman?
Yeah, by looking at this, aren't we already short on office space there? That's what I thought.
We got 3 people in a corner.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do about that?
Well, that's what I was saying in terms of.
Can you come back up to the,
Sorry about that.
yeah, come back up.
Yeah, so that's what staff had, what the concern that staff had, so.
Right.
And that would be a part of the negotiations, if if it was the commission's will, that we move forward with negotiations.
In Easton's rendering, they are building their own office space, so
There are
that will help.
Four additional offices in that rendering, and that would just be part of the negotiations of what we do with current office space.
Right.
How's your daddy?
He's good. He's doing
I ain't seen him in a while.
Yes, he's busy.
All right,
Are
any
you gonna
other?
do this and we're gonna get back together? 'Cause
We'll
I-
get back together.
Okay.
Right. We'll get back together. Commissioner
As
Farnsworth?
far as our office space, would any of the recreation department be able to move to the new municipal building?
The new municipal building?
No, new city hall.
City Hall. I don't know.
That wouldn't be ideal.
Yeah, yeah. I think we want Rod right there watching everybody. Okay, so do I have a motion for option A, direct staff to negotiate?
So moved.
I have a
Second.
motion from Commissioner Clark, second from Commissioner Coleman. Comments, question on the motion on the floor from the dais? Public comments, question on the motion on the floor. Give staff the opportunity to sit down with our staff, with Easton, see if we can correct some of these things. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. Commissioner Clark made the motion, Commissioner Coleman made the second. Okay, that takes us, thank you, sir, good job. The jacket made all the difference. That sold the presentation. Item 10 is appoint Board of Canvassers. The recommended action is to appoint Chairperson Pro Tem Mark Clark, who's going to serve as the chairperson, and Commissioner Monty Farnsworth, City Clerk Judy S. Rice. Do I have a resolution of that, or is it just write it into the motion? What? Just a vote on it. Okay, so the motion would be to appoint Mark as the chair, Monty, and Miss Judy. Do I have that motion?
Motion.
I have a motion from Commissioner Bazan, second from Commissioner Coleman. And again, for anyone out there who doesn't know, the Board of Canvassers are the folks that count the votes at the end of the night. They do the mail-in votes. They check the signatures. They have to come back on Wednesday after the election. Is it 2 days after the election? 1 day? They have to go back and confirm. And they have to take like a 6-hour class online. Congratulations. Thank you guys for volunteering. Appreciate you.
They had no choice.
All right, I had a motion. Who made the motion?
I did.
Commissioner Mazon.
Seconded.
And Commissioner Coleman made the second. Any comments, questions on the motion on the floor from here? Public comments, questions on the motion on the floor? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. That takes us to comments. Remember, we have flipped. We let our citizens talk first. So citizen comments first and foremost. Come on down, Miss Janine.
Janine Miranak, I just want to let anybody know who might be doing it. I-75 southbound is closed from Newberry Road to Williston Road.
Wow. That's a lot. I-75 has some problems.
From a wreck.
Yeah. Other citizen comments? Citizen comments?
Mr. Mayor.
You have your own section, so.
This is not a city.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to recognize Miss Michelle Shearfield from the Alachua County, I know.
She's been
Alachua
coming to
County Sheriff's
everything.
Office. She's been attending our
Yes.
meetings. She's the community outreach lady. Yeah. But she is our point of contact for anything, as she would say, not law enforcement business related. But she's making a point, and the sheriff's making a point to be more engaged in the Newberry community. So I just wanted to recognize her for her attendance tonight.
And Miss Michelle's done it. She was at the festival. She's been at the commission meeting. She's doing a great job. Thank you. And Publix. That's right. Our whole town was there. Other citizen comments? Seeing none, we'll go to city manager.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I don't want to toot my own horn, but, you know, Mike New was here for 10 years, and within my first 2 weeks, I opened Publix. So put that out there. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, our regular Memorial Day meeting, our regular meeting falls on Memorial Day in May. Typically, we ask if you'd like to cancel that meeting or move it. Looking at the number of items that we have coming, particularly on the planning and zoning side, we are going to recommend that you do hold that meeting, but move it on to Tuesday, May 27th. So we'll have an official agenda item for you to make the motion to move that, but just wanted to put it on your radar that we will be asking to have a commission meeting on May 27th, Tuesday.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I met last week with the sheriff to discuss our law enforcement agreement. As you know, the agreement expires this September. Our conversation went really well. The sheriff indicated that he was, and I quote, a Newberry boy, so he will do anything to support Newberry. So we've come to tentative terms on that negotiation, which will include a traffic deputy at 2741 and Southwest 15th in the morning, guaranteed, as well as an attempt to place one there in the afternoons when school lets out. No other major changes to the term. We'll be adding about $30,000 to the base contract to pay for that additional traffic deputy, and then keeping the same escalator of 3 3/4%. So we hope to bring that contract back to you in April. And then my last item is just to remind the commission about Wednesday's F300 accelerator launch. That's at 5:30 at the municipal building. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Lee, is it possible, I know that it's hard for the sheriff to bring staff on, but is it possible to go ahead and prorate and begin paying for that and get that service sooner than, what was it, September, April?
Mr. Mayor, the conversation was this new contract will take place in July. So the traffic deputy will start at the school year, next school year in August. But the sheriff wanted enough time to start staffing that position, so they couldn't do it for the rest of this school year.
Okay. All right, so Ms. Michelle, we're going to need you to go out there and direct some traffic for us in the morning. I'm just kidding. But I'll meet you out there if you want to. Okay, thank you, Mr. Manager. Mr. Attorney?
The AA3 bond rating, that's a big deal. I just wanted to comment on that real quick because your Department of Finance has come out of the box with a Moody's high-quality bond rating, very low risk of default is what that means. It's fourth highest bond rating for Moody's long-term corporate obligation rating system. It means that the city of Newberry has a very strong financial position. It has a very solid reserve levels, moderately sized, affluent tax base. The bond issuer has slightly elevated debt profile, but it amortizes that debt profile very rapidly with a very strong capacity to meet its financial commitments. And that just struck me when they said that was your first bond rating, because what that means is for our citizens and our customers of our utility service, when we go out on the bond market, we get very low rates for interest rates. And the savings that the city will receive in the future on that is tremendous. So it was one of those things that it wasn't really recognized or emphasized by, and your finance department is doing a marvelous job is what that means.
I appreciate you emphasizing that because I think it is there's so much kudos to go around the city of Newberry, but I would just ask all of the candidates when they throw around words like reckless, right, to remember that we've got really, really professional staff that are working really, really hard to make sure that that word is really, really inappropriate to use when you talk about what Newberry's doing. Because, and again, I understand on campaign, they're wanting to attack their opponent, but these guys up here, they turn to the professionals and they say, what is the best fiscally conservative way to protect our city? And they're doing it. Our staff is doing it. So I thank you for highlighting that.
Absolutely.
It is important.
The other thing I wanted to do is introduce to you Tom Robinson. He's our newest add-on to our group.
Right.
He's coming in, he's a litigator for a long time. He's been practicing 20 years, UF law school grad. Known Tom all the 20 years that he's been there, and he's a great add-on to our team. He's also coming into the local government section of what it is that we're doing as we
Okay.
grow, and we need people to plug and play. So, Tom,
Wonderful.
come just say 2 words about yourself.
Come on down. You're a litigator.
You
These are
haven't
this is
lived
easy.
until you've been introduced by Scott. I tell you
Yeah.
what. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, thank you so much for allowing me. As Scott said, Tom Robinson. I live just down the road here in Jonesville. Nobody's more excited than me about the Publix, I can tell you that. My Publix in Jonesville, I'm very upset. I got a lot of bones to pick with.
Yeah.
As Scott said, I've been litigating about 20 years. Mostly high dollar commercial insurance type disputes. And I can tell you something, this is maybe the 4th meeting I've been to so far, first one here. It's extremely engaging. I really appreciate you letting me watch it. It's so fascinating to me. I mean, there's a real dynamism to your group in particular. One of the other ones, some of the others we had to talk about, but it's really well done. In fact, I like it a lot more than I thought I would. I mean, I'm really interested in this, so I really appreciate you guys. And I'm sure I'll see you all again, of course.
Well, welcome to the
Talk to you.
team. And the only requirement is that when you're in front of all the other cities, you tell them that you like Newberry best.
Oh, fair enough.
There, all right,
It
good.
might be true. Right? So anyway, thank you all. I really do appreciate all of you. I'll look forward.
Thank you.
I'll get to know you a little bit here afterward.
Absolutely. Welcome. Is that it, Scott?
That's it.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Madam Clerk?
Election for the residents of the city of Newberry. Municipal election.
All right. Thank you for the reminder. You're doing a great job keeping us on track, Miss Judy. I don't know how you do it. There's so many new laws and new regulations and making sure everybody's putting in their reports and filing all that kind of stuff. We appreciate you. Makes us miss you when this is your last one. This is your last one. We came up with a lot of new regs and rules for you for the last one, just to make it fun. Thank you, Miss Judy. Commissioner Coleman.
Well, whenever election day is, I guess it was 12 years ago wow. Me, Jason, and Monty came in here, and got on the dais. Of course, Jason's gone now. But I guess where I'm going with this is, we were in the red. Thank you, Dallas, for what all you've done. We were in the red big time. And I guess the reason I'm saying this is because of some of these social media posts and stuff. I'm just reiterating on your coattail, Mayor, that, we have been fiscally conservative here, and I'm very, very, very proud of that. And I'm gonna do something I've never done.
You're not about to tell a dad joke, are you?
No. I'm just one Coleman, but there's a bunch of us here. But my family is supporting Donald Long, Tony Maison, and Tim Martin strongly. So that's where I'm at. I want everybody to know that. All
Thank
right,
you, sir. Appreciate it. Funny you say that. I came across a picture in my phone the other day of a rock that was holding the door of the fire department shut. And yeah. And so when we think about how far we've come in the last 12 to 14 years, you guys inherited a fire department that literally had to hold the door shut outside, which I'm sure is not legal, with a rock. And now when you walk around, that fire department is brand new. It's got brand new apparatus. It's got brand new equipment. So, I mean, the work, it's got an ambulance.
And
the work you guys have done. It's amazing.
Mayor, another thing is, we had how many cities has the FBI here investigating all this stuff?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people that moved here don't even know that story. So,
From FBI investigations to brand new fire departments.
Right.
And award-winning transparency. Again, I see the same social media posts, and I think
it's crazy.
That if you only knew where we came from and where we are now, right? And if you only had a way to compare which we do. Every city puts forth its audit, right? School board, county puts forth its audit, and, and we are where we are, right? We put forth, our level of transparency is higher than anyone else's. It's just, it boggles my mind how some people can say things and then look themselves in the mirror, because it's just not true, right? And we've got the receipts to prove it. So, thank you, sir. Commissioner Clark?
I ain't gonna get on the social media stuff because most of it's hogwash, so you can't believe 99.9 of it. I want to say, Mr. Mayor, that the Veterans Memorial, we've had a couple meetings since our last meeting. They have got the team, the staff has done a great job. They've removed another tree. The people, all of our contractors are just bursting at the seams and ready to go. And we've got it, everything's been surveyed. So we are on the verge of getting this thing done and up in the air. So there's some goals that behind the scenes, we'll see how it happens and what weather does and maybe some other things. But the Veteran Memorial's coming and everything's going good with that. So other than that, I'll just say God bless America and God bless our troops.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Commissioner Farnsworth?
Mr. Mayor, we opened our Publix last Thursday, and we were all in attendance. I would like to say I've had enormous amount of positive feedback from the community. The people are extremely happy that we've done that, but a lot of people don't realize all that went into it. It's not like, okay, yeah, Publix can come here, and then they just start building. There was a lot of negotiation, a lot of, I would even say, arguments between us, the county, and the state to get this done. And with the perseverance of you and Mike New, it has actually happened. People say, well, we don't want more growth, but when they get something like Publix in here, they sure do flock to it, don't they? And I want to thank Dallas for pushing over that last 6 inches to get it done. We as a commission and the city employees just need to be commended for all that what we've done regarding the getting the Publix here.
I agree. And it's funny you say that, because I remember it was about 5 years ago, Williston announced that they were getting a Publix. And I remember seeing someone go on Facebook, and she said, that Publix should be in Newberry, right? What's wrong with Newberry? And it's all the work between, because is there a Publix right now in the city of Williston? There's not. Is there a Publix in the city of Newberry? There is. And it's because of all the work that had to happen over the last 4 years, all of the problems that popped up that had to be problem solved, all of the negotiations that had to happen, right, to drag this thing, kicking and screaming across the finish line, right, that the public doesn't need. That's why they elect you guys, right? They elect you guys to hire these guys to make sure that it all happens. But it's funny you mentioned that, because I was just thinking about that social media post. I agree with Commissioner Clark. Most of it's not true, but I remember that. Why that Publix should be in Newberry. What's wrong with the commission, right? And here we are, 5 years later with the Publix in Newberry. Not saying anything against the city of Williston, right? I love all of our neighbors, but we had the tenacity and the professionalism to make sure that dream became a reality. But it was not just let's just build a Publix. And the last commission just didn't want one, right? Commissioner Barton.
Just had one question. Display. I'm sorry. I was wondering what happened with the fire truck building display. I know there were basically kind of got out of budget, but
your next manager is going to get it back in budget.
Mr. Mayor, scope creep to the point where it was no longer financially feasible with the budget we had.
Okay, cool.
First accomplishment was big, though.
That's right.
Publix.
He can't top it.
Chicken and sweet tea. Love it. I can go? Yeah, I'm good. All right. First, I would like to say it was great presentations tonight. Rod, great job. Camille, great. I'm looking forward to that. Me and him talked a little bit at the, what was that? State of the city. Yes. Great conversations. I do have a couple things here. The first thing is, yes, so I would like for you guys to come out, okay, this Wednesday. Unfortunately, it's at 5:30 to 7:30. So, so when you announced that, I was like, it's okay. I got 2 others that I'll have this month, so we're good. But if you want to support me, support a local business. So my first meet and greet is going to be this Wednesday at Capricious. And I look forward to answering any questions you may have to the best of my ability. If you want to donate, you can go to Tony Maison for Newberry, .nationsbuilder.com. And you'll see flyers coming out soon, and signs. I've been asked. Now, Spring Festival, April 8th, April 6th. Let me get this right. It's 5th. Yes, April 5th. My bad. Saturday, downtown. I'll have more details on that. Sorry. My apologies. And I've been so excited to get to this last...
Joke?
No, it's not this last item. So we're going to have movie night. I would love to see all you guys there. It's going to be at MLK, Martin Luther King Community Center. We're featuring our first movie night. It's going to be Moana 2. There will be drinks and popcorn and others. So I look forward to seeing everyone there. Come join us, movie night. Once again, MLK. The movie is going to be Moana 2. The address, if you need it, is 25515 Northwest 6th Ave. 25515 Northwest 6th Ave. And I hope to see you guys there. Now comes the joke. Why did the bird attack the dog? It was a purebred. Purebred. Bread. Purebred. All right. I'm done. Okay.
I don't know how to follow that. Great, I appreciate all of that. I did want to give a quick update. We had a resident, we all know him as Wally, but his name on Facebook is David Wallace, but he put out a call for the community to see if we wanted to do something to celebrate our youth. We've had district championships all over the place. We've had kids go with undefeated seasons. And so we met at Capricious a week or so ago. And we had a great conversation, and I think that we're going to have some exciting updates. But they are actually looking to turn this into an annual thing to show appreciation and just be Newberry proud. So look forward to that. But I think what we're going to do is something on the football field. We're going to bring all the kids out. I do want to say thank you to Representative Kat Kammick. She's going to show up that night and represent and say thank you, congratulate all the kids. So that's great. We've had 2-3 coaches win Coach of the Year this year, so we'll have an opportunity to recognize them, but we're going to feed the kids, hand out all the congratulations, and as soon as I get that date locked down, we'll be publishing all of that. But it was a great meeting, and I just thought it was one more example. I'm often asked, how do you keep the small town feel as you grow, right? Because you're either growing or you're dying, right? And so how do you hold on to that small town feel? And the answer to that question is people like David Wallace, right? It is people like Main Street and the Chamber and the Newberry Garden Club and the concerned citizens. When we all get together and we all host events that bring us together, that's what keeps the small town feel. Small town is not about the population number, it's about how we treat each other. And I will say that until the day I die. As long as we say, yes, sir, no, sir, appreciate you, as long as you go mow your neighbor's yard when they lose somebody and they're struggling, that's what a small town is, right? So I appreciate that. I look forward to giving the update. That's the only my last comment. So we are adjourned. Have a great night, everybody. Drive safe.